Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Just got about a 11-12 minute walk back home from the station coming back from Origin, so I thought I'd record a quick thought, although it's just started raining. Oh god, this is annoying. I'm gonna have to walk back very fast, but yeah, I thought I'd give you some quick thoughts, I guess, on Origin, potential SuperCoach implications. So obviously, look, I guess congrats to Queensland, I have to say it, 38-10. I mean, the scoreline probably doesn't fully reflect the game. I think New South Wales were pretty brave for being 12 men down for majority of that game, to stay in that game for as long as they did. But look, Queensland had their moments and they took them when they had them. Really good performances from like Hamiso scoring a hat-trick. Cherry Evans had a really good kicking game. Ben Hunt scoring a double. Unfortunately for Reece Walsh, obviously got knocked out very early in that game. Look, I was very emotional on Twitter when the incident happened, but look, this is purely just being in the moment. You're sitting far away, you think it's just a normal tackle, and you're looking at it like, oh, how's he getting sent off? But watching the replay back and looking at it a few more times, I can understand the send-off. And it's just the biggest thing is that it's very disappointing because it just completely deflates, your feeling about your team and its prospects for the game, because you see your team 12 down with like 73 minutes to go, and you're just thinking, even in clubland, let alone Origin, such a tall order. So that was probably the most disappointing part of that particular incident, but hopefully Reece Walsh is okay. I guess for him, he'll probably be out for round 14 and round 15 now because of this 11-day stand down. I think the next game available is Origin 2 for him. So for anyone who's holding on to him, yeah, you're going to be missing the next 3 weeks. Probably makes him, straightforward sell, I think, SuperCoach wise. I think other thoughts on Queensland look pretty solid across the park, so you can't really see too many changes happening in their team, which probably does mean someone like, say, a Fafita is probably going to be safe, I guess, from selection. So you probably would be able to get him and have him for round 16, at least. Maybe round 19, something else happens. But look, I think he's probably still, you can probably trade him in with more confidence. On New South Wales side, so definitely more talking points. So I think Teddy had a really good game, actually. So I know they lost, but I think he wasn't really a reason for that. So I think he's probably likely to stick around in that team. Also, I just realized with the light, here you go, you can see my New South Wales Blues hat. Obviously very sad in the result of things. But yeah, so Teddy, I think, could stay in that team. So, Dylan Edwards owners, I think you're more reliant on the injury news about him than anything else. With Suoli'i, so he's actually been handed a minimum, I think, 4-week suspension. So 4 to 5 weeks looks to be what he's going to be out for. That obviously has big ramifications for who plays centre for New South Wales, which I think is probably going to be either Matt Burton coming into the team or Latrell Mitchell. So this probably makes me a little bit more cautious about just going for Latrell. I think if you're a Reece Walsh owner, though, you're probably more inclined to sell, and Latrell looks like the one I'd be going to. You at least get around 14 and 15, and then maybe you can reassess in round 16. So I still think he's okay to trade from Reece Walsh, but probably does, give me a little bit more pause for saying, yep, he's a slam dunk to give you round 16 and round 19 coverage. Matt Burton could maybe slot in there for sure. But I guess Lomax, outside of Suoli'i, shout out to him, actually scored a try. I actually think he just had a really solid game, so don't see any reason why he would be changing or moving out of that New South Wales team. I think in general across the board, New South Wales actually were like pretty good overall. Sorry, I'm just going to walk into a period without any light, so I'm going to be recording in the dark. But look, New South Wales, apart from that being 12 men down, they actually were pretty gritty. They stayed in the team. Reece Robson had a really good game, as did Lomax. I think a few of the, Teddy I mentioned already, the reliable guys like To'o, etc., they're never going to have a bad game. Nico Hines, I think, is probably going to get a bit of scrutiny, though. So it is tough when your team is 1 man down, of course. And he did have the kick, excuse me, which led to the try assist for Zach Lomax. But, the thing is, if you compare how Cherry Evans and Nico Hines both performed, I think it's almost night and day. Yes, the 1 man advantage is there for Cherry Evans, but if you look at Cherry Evans' game, I think his kicking game was probably better. More of his kicks, I think, led to New South Wales catching it and having less opportunity to run out of their own end compared to, say, Hines. Obviously, Cherry Evans kicked the 40-20, and he did get that intercept, which did lead to a try for Xavier Coates. Whereas with Hines, apart from that one kick to Lomax, I just don't think he had the best game. Now, I don't want to be too unfair on him because he was getting pressured a lot on kicks, so fair enough. If his kicks weren't able to be landed as accurately or be as effective, that was probably the main reason why. So I don't want to put too much blame on him, but I mention it because I think there is potential risk of maybe he gets changed out and maybe Mitch Moses comes in for game 2. I can't see that happening, especially because I think we were much weaker in the kicking game department. Someone like a Mitch Moses, I think he probably does have a general in-game kicking game than Nico Hines. So that's given me some food for thought as well about maybe not looking to sell Hines this week, because he might be out this week, but if we have him for 15, actually they do miss 16 already, so he still might be a sell. But yeah, look, one to mull things over, I guess, over Thursday. But yeah, something to think about with Hines. Maybe there is a risk that he does get dropped out of that team, and I think Latrell maybe is a chance of coming in. I just realized this is the worst possible lighting to be recording some kind of video when I have absolutely zero street lamps. Makes me realize my street home is very, very dark. But anyway, as long as you can hear me okay, and you can see my nose, I guess, which is, it's not hard to miss. It's pretty big. But yeah, those are, I guess, some quick fire thoughts out of the game. Potential SuperCoach implications. Thought I'd just do it on the walk home, given that I've got 12 minutes. Well, I wasn't going to do much anyway, so I thought may as well chat a little bit about NRL while it's all fresh in the mind. Just kind of trying to have a quick thought about any other things potentially out of that game. Not really, to be honest. I think, yeah, in summary, I don't really see Queensland changing that team. I mean, I must say, like, Hamiso, like, he's a weapon. He is so good. Like, he's just so fast. And this is the thing, a lot of the chat coming into the game was Queensland had the game breakers, New South Wales didn't. I think it would have happened that even if it was 13 versus 13, you probably would have seen the same result, because so many times it didn't help, of course, that the right edge of New South Wales was where they had lost a person, but that's the same side that Hamiso was playing on. That's where Queensland did all of that damage in the back end of the first half. Hamiso is just electric, like, great in support play. Just, yeah, he is a freak. He's so good. Cobbo even had a really good impact coming into that team. Had some really good runs out of his own end, which didn't quite have the same thing, I guess, from the New South Wales backs. But I think, they're not the reason, apart from Suli, I guess. Obviously getting sent off didn't help, but yeah, just more game breakers in general, I guess, across that Queensland team. And yeah, Cherry Evans, I think, had a really great game in comparison to Hines. Luai was good, he had that grubber kick for Teddy, but it was very, very frustrating when there was a period in that second half where we were really good. We got the ball back when Queensland were attacking our own try line, and he was doing his usual kind of skipping across the field, not really making any meters, and it led to a knock on, and then they scored straight after. That was really, really frustrating, because that was at a period of the game where I thought, we're in it here, could we just get one try and then maybe we're back in it? But it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I guess for me, for my own team this week, it's making me solidify wanting to get Fafita, I think, for sure, but sacrificing Hines, maybe I'm not as convinced. But yeah, we don't have to decide until Friday, but that's some of my early thoughts. We're going for 8.5 minutes. I'm getting to another very dark patch, so I think I'm just going to wrap it up there, because otherwise you guys won't see my face at all. I mean, some of you might like that anyway. But yeah, hopefully you all had a good evening. Any Queensland watchers, I'm sure you're having a blast. Any New South Wales fans like myself on this very, very, very sad night, sun and rain on me, feels very fitting. It's all right. We pick ourselves up. And look, as I said, I grew up in the 8-in-a-row era. By the 5th series Rona win, I was numb to the pain. So look, New South Wales winning a game, even a game at home, it hurt 2 hours ago. Now it's just, it is what it is. So anyway, gonna end it on that very gloomy note. Thank you all for tuning in. Catch you all in the next one.